All right, folks, welcome back into the program. I am Rick Robinson. You are listening to us live right here on KLRNRadio.com, America's podcast network. I am joined right now by a good friend of mine, Chris Powell. You may have heard us. Actually, he's sat in with me one time when I was filling it on KOKC Radio. He's ran for governor here in Oklahoma, and he's now actually running for Bethany City Council. Hello, sir. How are you?
Not bad. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. So it's been a while since we've been on together. The last time we were actually hanging out over on KOKC. But unfortunately, since I live way out in the middle of nowhere, I can't vote for you. But I am actually really intrigued by your campaign. So I wanted to have you on to talk about this a little bit and see exactly what your plan was if you do happen to become elected to Bethany City Council.
Well, I appreciate being on. It's always fun to be able to chat with folks along with you. We've got some things that we need to get done in Bethany as far as the infrastructure and moving our city forward, and that's really what I'm interested in doing.
All right, so we were talking a little bit off the air, and you said that one of the things that you are most wanting to deal with is, you'd mentioned a water situation in Bethany, so I'm sure those that live in Bethany probably know exactly what I'm talking about, but for those that may be listening for the first time, why don't you explain it in a little bit better detail?
Well, we've got a problem with our wells. We're on well water here in Bethany, and a number of our wells, over half of them, have turned out to be contaminated by some pollutants from companies that were based at Wiley Post Airport. Gulfstream and Rockwell are both involved in that, and we've got a lawsuit going on right now. But in the meantime, we've got a restricted water supply, which most of the time is not a problem. But when you get into the summer months, when there's heavy water usage, we wound up having to buy a considerable amount of water from the city of Oklahoma City. We need to fix our water situation going forward. Part of that is going to be resolution of the lawsuit, but we need to stay on top of that. And one of the things that happens out of that lawsuit, whatever the settlement is, we need to make sure all of that goes back into the water. It doesn't need to be redirected to anybody's pet projects or anything like that. We've got to make sure that we've got good water. If you don't have water, you don't have a town.
I mean, it makes sense to me. That's one of the things that it took me the longest to get used to when we moved out this way. We're on city water, even though we're out in the middle of nowhere, but we have probably some of the hardest water I've ever dealt with in my life. I mean, it's not contaminated or anything, but I'm actually considering investing in a water softener because I have to replace part of my hot water tank about every 6 months because it's so bad.
Oh.
Yeah, it's terrible. But anyway, nobody wants to hear about my water situations. All right, so I guess one of the biggest questions I'm sure everybody's asking is what's going to make you different than those that are running for the same seat that you are?
Well, I think there's a number of different things, but probably the biggest thing is it just comes down to experience. I've been involved in policy at the state, county, and local level in different capacities. I've been a party to a legal case that's gone all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. I've proposed legislation that at the state capitol that has become law. I was involved in helping support the Oklahoma County Jail Trust. I've got experience that the other candidates simply can't match, and I want to put that experience to work for the people of Bethany.
I'm familiar with some of the stuff that you're talking about. I actually wasn't aware that you were involved in the jail trust. That's kind of cool. That's become a whole nother animal. So we actually may have you back on to talk about that at some other point. But so I guess one of the other questions is Bethany, the town of Bethany. Mm-hmm. So let's say for the sake of argument, you win the election. What are some of the first things that you plan on doing to try to raise Bethany's business profile?
Well, I think we've got to look at all of the possible impediments to businesses coming here. I believe that there are people who want to be in business in Bethany, and they are simply finding too many obstacles to do so. And this, part of this is historical. Bethany was founded around the religious community that was here about 110 years ago now. And it was very much part of that, and that was a community that wanted their town to be a certain way. And, that may have made sense at that time, but things have changed a lot since then. Cities in Oklahoma are dependent solely on sales tax revenue as the only tax that they can apply. So, we really need to have businesses that are doing business so that we can have money to fund our city government. You could raise more money by doing a tax hike, but I am very much against that. We need to bring in more business. We have places that people can go, but we still have this historical hangover of these zoning issues and permitting issues and things like that are in the way of that. And we need to find ways around that to overcome that, maybe repeal some things, look at the ordinances, find out what's causing the problems and get those problems out of the way so we can do some business.
So, again, just to kind of build off of that, you'd mentioned some of the impediments, the zoning issues and other things like that. Is there anything else that's basically standing in Bethany's way of becoming a business powerhouse?
Well, we have, we're kind of in between a couple of different areas that have had growth in the past, 15, 20, 25 years with the expressway and with all the stuff down on I-40 along, between MacArthur and Rockwell. So, we can't get some of the big things that, that have come in some of those places. Those don't really fit with Bethany, so we need to find the things that do. And one of the things that we need to build on, and I think just about everybody in town agrees with this to a certain extent, is we need to build on the Route 66 tourism. It comes right through town. It's a big deal. We've got businesses along that route. We need to build on that and take advantage of that. And, other people are already working on that, and I want to help support that.
Sounds like you've got a pretty good idea of what you plan on doing. All right, so you've been on with me for a few things like this before, so we've gotten all the questions that I wanted to make sure that we got covered for the interview out of the way. We've got about 7 or 8 minutes left. I want you to pitch to everybody in Bethany why you should be their guy.
Well, again, it goes back to experience. I've been involved in some very positive things. The state legislation opened up vital records to the public that had been closed off to where there was no public access to it at all. So I helped change that, and that led to the creation of an online database of vital statistics records that is available. It's called OK2Explore.com, if anybody wants to take a look at that. So I help push that. I've written for the Daily Oklahoman, been on their editorial page several times. So, I have that experience in those relationships with different people. That's part of why I'm endorsed by former Mayor Brian Taylor, former Ward 1 Councilman Curtis Moore, former Ward 1 Councilman Richard Engel, former State Representative Charles Key. I've got those connections that I can build on, and my opponents just don't have that. So that's a big part of it. I'm also committed to, no tax hikes, not getting into big government ideas that we really don't need to be taking chances on in the city of Bethany. Doing the basic functions of city government and making sure we're spending our money wisely, we're not wasting resources on foolish things. That's really the bread and butter of good government is what I'm about. So I've got the experience to know how to do that and to not get dragged off into boondoggles. And, I can keep an eye on taxpayer dollars and also move the city forward so that we can be the community that everybody here wants us to continue to be.
Well, after listening to the last few minutes, if I could vote for you, you'd have my vote. But I'm sure you're used to that by now. I voted for you in the last election you ran in. We won't mention that one. All right, my friend. Well, we are just about up to a break. Did you any last thoughts?
Just that anybody listening that has not been to Bethany recently, come find an excuse to come out here. This is a great place. It's it's in the metro area, but it's got a small town atmosphere. We've got a lot of interesting shops there along 39th. We've got some a couple of good places to eat along 23rd as well. And you need to come out and visit with us. Bethany's a great place. I want to keep it that way, and I want everybody listening to come and see us.
Okay, not trying to put you on the spot, but what's your favorite restaurant in Bethany?
Well, I really like the new Sam's Southern Eatery. We got one of those at 23rd and Rockwell that's been there just a few months, and we're really glad to have that. And there's the Stray Dog Cafe is a nice place for lunch downtown. Papa Angelo's is a good pizza place. I like to eat a lot of different things, so it's picking one favorite restaurant is just not going to work for me.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, the wife and I have favorite Mexican restaurants broken down by county, and we're pretty eclectic with our food taste too, so I can relate. All right, well, that's going to do it for this particular segment. Again, want to thank my guest, Chris Powell. Good luck in the upcoming election, sir, and we will get your team a copy of this interview as soon as we can. That way you can use it however you see fit. This is Rick Robinson. We are live right here on KLRNRadio.com, America's Podcast Network. We will be right back. Don't go away.
Thanks, Rick.
You're welcome, my friend.